30, and it is unbelievable how many souls showed up. There were more souls for the bhakti today than for the morning Mudi class, which is which was a pleasant surprise. For a little bit, I felt that these bhattis have become sort of a lost thing of the past. I remember when we were in Raipur at that time in 2000, 2001, 2, 3. I think we were there till about 2005. Yeah, April or May of 2005. And we used to have regular bhattis. There was a big retreat center that had been created. I think it was 2001 or 2 or maybe 3 when it was finalized. It was slightly in the outskirts of Raipur, but we used to go there very often. There used to be many seniors who would visit from Madhuban and elsewhere. I remember Om Prakash Bhaiji was the head of the Indore zone, and he used to frequently visit as well. And we would have all day bhattis. So we would reach there at 6 o'clock in the morning. 6 to about 6:15, we would have meditation. 6:15 to about 7 o'clock maximum, we would have a fast murli. Then we would have a little break, bathroom break sort of. And then we would have Om Prakash Bhaiji's class. And he would really speak so well. He would give us such deep insights for the bhatti as well as in general about Baba's knowledge. And then after that, we would have a little bit of breakfast, some poha and tea that would be made for, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 souls who would show up. How much these sisters, how much the brothers would make effort to provide for everyone. But it was very light. I remember how lovely that poha used to be. Hardly any oil, hardly any spices, very simple, but made with lot of love. And we used to sit then after that in bhatti for the whole day. Then we would even have a little bit of lunch. No, I don't remember. Many times lunch was not available. So for about 2 hours, if I'm not mistaken, at about 1:30ish, the bhatti would end sometimes. We would all be told to go home, have our own lunch, and then come back at 4 o'clock. Then from 4 to 7:30, we would have again bhatti, and then a little bit of snack, little bit of tholi before we would be done for the day. And then we would come back the next day. So usually Saturday, Sunday, 2 days at least, we would have the bhatti. And I remember it used to be a very intense kind of a practice in those days. We after the class was over and after we would have the breakfast, we would go back to the hall. But as we would be entering the hall through one of those 2 3 doors that were there would be one or the other sister standing there, and she would apply a tilak. And it was like a tilak of awareness, but also a reminder of the tilak of victory. And then we would sit the whole day. And I remember there weren't any chairs whatsoever. The 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 floor was also literally just hard floor, and oftentimes there was just one dari, and over that a cloth that would be laid on it. No foam things. Now in most centers, in Baba's room, even if you want to sit on the floor, there would be some foam padding, but in those days there was none. And as we would sit for hours and hours together, our legs would become totally cramped up. But it was such a lovely experience. So today, what we did at the center is we created some small, messages, and we put them on the floor. And we did it in a way that there is space between those signs, those messages, and also we had chairs. So people could stand if they wanted to in front of those messages, or they could sit, and everybody was free to move around. They could sit for as long as they wanted. They could stand for as long as they wanted. They could continue to walk as they wished. And if they didn't want to be part of that walk, they could also sit on the side. But it was such a powerful experience for me too, after a very long period of time, to have this deep experience. you know and after that, now we are giving watermelon to everyone. So I just cut the watermelon so that everybody can enjoy. So my hope was that I could also go there, because so many souls have come, and it'll be difficult for Kanishta to take care of all of them. But I know the task has been given to me, which I must fulfill, the task of doing Murli Manthan. So I was thinking, what would you like to know? What would you like to hear? I was reading all the three Murlis of the week. You all must have enjoyed listening to the Murlis. The 5th July Murli was to, yeah, because 5th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And right, today is the 12th for you all. So you listen to three Murlis. To celebrate Holi means to burn the weakness or weaknesses in the fire of determined thought, and to celebrate the pleasure of meeting with Baba. The second was, in order to experience the flying stage, maintain a balance of two things: feelings filled with knowledge and yoga filled with love. And the third was, the sign of love for Father Brahma is to become an Avyakt angel. So if we go to the first Murli, Baba has always talked about in holy Murlis about how we have to become holy. And we can become holy only when we allow all the past to become like bygones are bygones. If we hold on to the past, then past itself is an impurity. So the past is past, holy. And the other holy is that I become Baba's child, मैं Baba ki holi. That if I have anyone or anything else in my mind other than Baba, that too is impurity. So impurity is much deeper than we think. And Baba has asked us to reflect on, and in fact, he does that in every Holy Murli, reflect on what needs to be done to become really holy. And then that becoming holy is the true celebration of holy. Yeah. The burning of the past sanskaras, the burning of the past in general, you see. And that's what is the Avyakt Ishara, yeah, the Avyakt signals for the month, to have that volcanic stage. And volcanic stage is that fire is the only element that actually defies gravity. Yeah, if you think about it. Air also is subject to gravity, and water is subject to gravity. The earth itself is gravity, matter, stone, rock. But fire kind of moves upwards. And the characteristic of fire is that it transforms everything. It transforms the form, the shape, the color. Yeah, all those characteristics are transformed. So when we are in Baba's remembrance, that fire, the holy car that we burn within ourselves, allows us to be able to get rid of the past sanskaras. So Baba wants us to become unshakable, immovable, or and that's possible only when we are detached observers. That was also in yesterday's Murli for you all and today's Murli for us. Watching the games of life, spiritual flowers, spiritual roses, Baba talked about in this Murli is a little bit different from the traditional holy Murlis, because on one hand Baba emphasized about detached observer, and on the other hand Baba also talked about the becoming a flower that has lots of good fragrance. And fragrance is our purity, our qualities, the virtues that we inculcate within ourselves. Yeah. So when we have a virtuous life, a virtuous life is not just celibacy and the gross level purity, but deep within ourselves, when we imbibe all the virtues that the soul actually was created with, the inherent qualities of the soul, then that is really being holy. Yes, so we have to celebrate holy, but we have to actually become holy, holy swans. Yes, this was the deep understanding that Baba gave us in this Murli. Yes. Any thoughts about that holy? Baba also told us that we are enlightened souls. So when we are holy, then we would become enlightened, or when we would become enlightened, then we would become holy. Something to think about. Yeah. So,
Isn't it goes hand in gloves?
yeah, exactly. The horse and the carriage,
Yeah,
the chicken and the egg. Yeah.
you
Each
just can't put
supplements
your
each other.
finger on one thing and say that this is
Yeah.
first and this is second.
Pardon me. So true. Yeah, that's what I keep thinking about all day long, which comes first, and it it is an enjoyable experience to realize that both work together, both complement each other. Yes, Bijit Bhai, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. You wanted to say something. It looks like that.
Om Shanti. So, one question on that volcanic love yoga that you mentioned. So, um, Baji, what all techniques can we apply in order to stabilize ourselves in Paranta? Because often we try to visualize and then that frequent disconnection takes place, right? So, how can we extend our thought there, being there, and experience?
Yes, dear brother. So in this, we have to have just one Baba. See, volcanic yoga just means focused attention. So it's a discipline that we have to cultivate. As soon as we sit in Baba's remembrance, so many other thoughts come. Our mind begins to wander. We get pulled in so many different directions. It could be people, it could be places, it could be objects, it could be status, it could be our own thoughts, it could be our own mistakes, it could be the past, it could be the future. It could be so many different things. But how to retract our connection, if you will, from all of these things, and just holding the thought that I have one Baba and nothing else. It requires effort, and and you will find that as you try it, it's not that difficult actually. Yes, a little bit of internal preparation before that. Um, that today is a day when I'm going to just sit with Baba, nothing else will cross my mind. And even if it does, I'm not going to really bother about it for now. I'm going to table it. You see, I was telling everyone as I was doing the commentary, as I was taking them through the experience, do- just like when you go to sleep, you kind of disconnect from the world. You have to, right? Even if you don't want to go to sleep, eventually, if you're enough sleep deprived, you will sleep. And when you wake up, then you reconnect with the world and do what is necessary. You see, if you have emails to check, you see, you catch up with what transpired in the world while you're asleep. Let's say your family member is sick back in India and You were trying to figure out how their health is. You were talking to the doctor, you were talking to the family members, and then you go to sleep. So you sleep for 6 hours, 5 hours, whatever the time you sleep for. And when you wake up, then right away you check your cell phone. What are the new messages, any new emails from the doctor, any new reports that have been sent, whatever it is. Or your boss has told you to do something, or you have an application for your visa, green card, whatever, things that are going on. You table all of those for a little bit, and then you reconnect, re-engage, and catch up with whatever must have happened during that time. So take that 2 hours, 1 hour, 5 hours, 6 hours as a forced time, if you will, but not forcing, but gently guiding yourself with the understanding, or giving your mind the understanding that, hey, this is like sleep. I'm going to sleep for 2 hours. Today we did it for 2 hours. We just finished the yoga. So 2 hours, as if nothing else exists. No one exists. I'm not going to think about anything. Yeah, I'm asleep. So you see, when you go to sleep, regular sleep, then while you're asleep to the external world, you become awake to your inner world. Yeah. And inner world would mean then you would have dreams, and in the dreams, you could go to places where you've never been. You could meet people whom you have not met for a very long period of time. Maybe you could see yourself having a cup of tea with Nelson Mandela or with the Pope or whoever else, or maybe even going back into time with at the time when Buddha was there or Mahavir was there, right? So many things can come up. Or you could be in an African safari riding an elephant, all of those things. So there is this new inner world that comes alive as soon as the outside world gets shut off. So similarly here too, as we shut off the external world, then this new world of our inner consciousness, you see, that comes alive. The beauty is that we are actually awake. In that sleep, oftentimes we have no control of what is transpiring. Yeah, you could have lucid dreaming, but very infrequently. But here, as soon as you shut off the external world, then the inner world truly comes alive in a very lucid way. And in that state, you can actually do wonders for yourself. You can have the best of the best experiences. You can give yourself whatever gift you wanted to give, fill yourself, heal yourself. Yeah. Take yourself to amazing heights. Just you and Baba, nothing else, no one else. You see, if they say that um, inside the volcano, an active volcano in the crater, sometimes the temperatures become so high that I don't know, somebody was saying maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong. We'll have to Google it, ask AI, ask ChatGPT. But they were saying that sometimes the temperature inside the crater can be higher than the surface of the sun. Yeah, who knows? So intense temperature for sure, even if it is equal to more or whatever. Yeah, but it's definitely quite intense. And in that, everything gets melted. There's this flow of lava that happens from that volcano. So similarly, in this remembrance with Baba, you and Baba, as you fuse yourself with Baba, yeah, like two hydrogen atoms fusing with each other, then tremendous amount of energy gets created. So in that energy, or with that energy, you can then purify the soul, almost as if you're in a blast furnace, and all the impurities are melting away and flowing out from you like the lava. So that's all, in a way you have to create visualizations for yourself, but just holding the thought that it is you and Baba and nothing else, no one else. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Baba often gives the example of lover and beloved. See, even in the world, when two lovers meet each other in a garden, or you all are in Mumbai, so close to Kolaba, all these lovers will meet each other. And it is as if then they're looking at each other, they are looking into each other's eyes, and nothing else exists. They're holding each other's hands, and as if the whole world has disappeared and it's just them. So the similar kind of experience Baba wants us to have between us and Baba, that nothing else matters. And if nothing else matters, then nothing else exists. And or you could look at it this way, that nothing else exists. And if nothing else exists, then nothing else matters. Right? Yeah. Either ways. Is that good enough, brother?
Yeah, Bhaji, thank you.
And yeah, we had a lovely experience. I felt so light. I felt so empowered, so rejuvenated. I want to do it more. Some souls wanted to leave early, so there was a little bit of commotion, a little bit of distraction. And next time, I'm going to request everyone that please don't try to leave early. That creates commotion for the others as well. But all right. So going back to the Murli, um, there's so much to think about in this. Is there anything you want to ask about Holi? It's a long Murli, and I did think that you all can also share if you wish to. But more importantly, I wanted to go on to the second Murli, the thing that Baba talks about sometimes, that is feelings filled with knowledge and yoga filled with love. What does it really mean that you know that we need to do? Baba oftentimes says that we either become too emotional, that is, we sometimes use the heart too much, or sometimes we go the other side too often, too much. Not necessarily too often, but you know, we sometimes start to rationalize things too much. That is, we become too cerebral. And in this Murli, Baba hasn't talked about it that much, but in a way, Baba has said that brothers tend to be too much left-brained, right? Too much cerebral, and they think too much, analyze too much, and then there is oftentimes considerable amount of understanding of the knowledge because they analyze things a lot, whereas sisters tend to use emotions or feelings, and both are great. Yeah, the brothers, that's why, tend to become a little more arrogant. Yeah, because I understand. Those are the words that brothers tend to speak. And then sisters oftentimes get carried away with their emotions. The words they use is I feel. And in a way, we are all souls. It's not brother or sister, but it's more of social conditioning that makes us behave like brothers or sisters. Now, Baba wants us to really rise beyond brother, sister, male, female, into the realm of soul consciousness. So, as a soul, we need to be able to develop the perfect blend of these two. In other words, create the right balance, the golden mean, where we don't use too much of our head, but we also do not use too much of our heart. Rather, we are able to think with the heart, through the heart, and try to feel with the head, sort of, you see. That is, but at the same time, if you read the Murli very carefully, Baba is wanting us to be true yogis. And we can be yogis only when we are knowledge full. So, in a way, what I have understood from this Murli, which I have not heard Baba say that many times, is that if you have to err on one side, yeah, see, if there is a fine line, and on one side there are, let's say, um, sharp pebbles that if you step on those, then you may get hurt. But on the other side is a pit full of rattlesnakes. Then which side would you err on? Yeah, it's no brainer, right? You would err on the side where there are pebbles. The maximum is that those pebbles might cut your feet a little bit, hurt you a little bit, but you will survive. On the other hand, if you accidentally fall into the pit with rattlesnakes, you're not going to survive at all. So, in a way, Baba is saying that if you have to err, or if what would be a better strategy is to work on the intellect, that we have a clear understanding of Baba's knowledge. Then, the more clear understanding we have of Baba's knowledge, then we will not be carried away by our feelings and emotions, for sure. But also, a true knowledge, full soul will also not have arrogance. You see, arrogance is there because of our lack of understanding of Baba's knowledge. We when we just think of Baba's knowledge or try to understand it superficially, that wouldn't really be called as being knowledgeful. You see, Baba doesn't use the word wise, or wherever it is being translated from Hindi Murlis to English Murli, the term that is used is knowledgeful. You see, one is to acquire knowledge and the other is to become knowledgeful. What does this knowledgeful really mean? It's wisdom, it's becoming wise. So when we become wise, then we are actually able to not just acquire knowledge, but interpret it and process it so that it becomes truly meaningful for ourselves. Yeah. So when we are in that state, then for sure we won't be carried away by our feelings and emotions. And we will also not become arrogant because of knowledge. Yes, that was the main thing. And Papa is saying that when we are able to balance these two things, just like the plane has to balance itself with the two wings that it has. So these two aspects, when we balance them, then we can really be flying in a way that will become constantly victorious. Success will become our true birthright. Yeah. All right. So Gyani souls, Baba uses the word Gyani souls. Truly Gyani. You see, Gyani again is becoming that wise self. It's not just superficial knowledge, really going deep into the understanding of what Baba wants. Yeah. So I'll ask you all, is it okay to cry once in a while? To become emotional so that you cry? Yes, no. No, good. How about tears of love? Are they okay? Yes, yes. Are they really okay? They clean the eyes up. Is that why? Actually, Moini Didi had explained very long back that, you know, a true yogi doesn't cry, period. You know, and I thought about it past, but I find it very interesting that she had talked about that. And let's say suddenly you get a chance to go to Madhuban and you thought it's going to be impossible, and you're not able to control that or contain that feeling, that emotion, and you start crying or tears come to your eyes. Now you look at the sentence that I just said. Why are tears coming to my eyes? Because I couldn't control my feelings or contain my emotions. So is that a failure or a success? Mhm. Yes, what do you think?
It's an
Yes.
it's an expression of what is there in the mind or in the brain. It should come out in one form or the other, brother. So nothing wrong in it.
Acha, acha. All right.
But at the
So,
same time, if you have a pen and a book in your hand, and if you can vent that out in a similar manner, you'd probably be able to introspect better the next time.
no, but see, one is venting out. Why do we need to vent out? Yeah, think about it, let's say, they talk about factories where there is zero emission. In cars too, they are trying to create these catalytic converters and zero emission sort of thing. In anesthesia, when we have these waste gases, we are trying to use those adsorbents. It's adsorbents. Yeah, that's what they call, I guess, to be able to absorb all the anesthetic gases that we don't even have to vent them out. So if we have processed things enough or well, then what is the point in venting? There's nothing to vent. So, so should something to think about. I'm not saying I'm right or whatever. You're welcome to think whatever works best for you. But something introducing this to you to think about, to reflect on, to contemplate on. Yeah, a true yogi. And if you wish, you can read that Murli again, where Baba talks about completely unshakable state, immovable, unshakable state. So, as a true yogi, can there be even an exclamation mark? You see, there's a question mark, and then there's an exclamation mark. Ah, this happened. It could be for good, it could be for bad. But is there anything really good, really bad? Everything is good, everything is okay. What is it? Things to think about. It is the drama, right? So if we really understand the drama, then where is the question of even exclamation? Yeah. If you think about it for a moment, let's say suddenly you feel a deep connection to Baba and your eyes are filled with tears. But why not have that deep connection 24 hours? If you have that deep connection 24 hours, then it won't be like, I had this deep connection now and my eyes are filled with tears. So what Mohini Didi was trying to explain that state of constancy, that unshakable, immovable stage of complete equanimity. The ancient Greek philosophers used to call this as stoicism, stoic. That they say that these people, Marcus Aurelius and all those people that they talk about, despite whatever happened, the Great Plague and famines and so many different things, but there was not even the slightest uh, noise that emerged from the mouth or the heart or the eyes. There was just no expression whatsoever. There was this story that they talk about. I think Seneca was one of those Stoics, those ancient Greek philosophers who was born into slavery, and his master took his leg and started to bend it till it would break. And he was absolutely quiet, no noise, no sound, no expression, no grimace. And finally, he broke the leg. And still no noise, no sound, no grimace, no expression whatsoever. So that highest form of expression where there is no expression, is what Baba really wants. If you look at the Murlis, especially this Murli, a true Jnani soul, true knowledgeable soul, a true wise soul will have his intellect so stable, so perfect, so organized that nothing, absolutely nothing can shake him or her. Yes, something to think about. All right, and then the third Murli was about becoming an Avyakt angel. But before we go on to the third one, let's take a moment to create that stage for ourselves. Let's see ourselves as that unshakable soul. Let's start. Do you think that Shiv Baba ever cries? Shiv Baba never cries. Well, we can say Shiv Baba doesn't have eyes to cry. He doesn't have tear glands. So are emotions good? Is love an emotion? Is happiness an emotion? Is joy an emotion? Is bliss an emotion? Reflect on these thoughts. Ask yourself, is love an emotion? Then the answer that the soul will tell you that it's not. Love is who you are. Emotions come as soon as you forget that you're a soul. The energy of the soul then comes into motion and it becomes emotion. Similarly, happiness. It is who you are. Then how can it be an emotion? Love, happiness, bliss, compassion, kindness, and these emotions. So as you rise above emotions into the realm of who you really are, so that's when true stability comes. Become immovable and unshaken. And then you start to reach your destination. Let's take a few minutes to reflect on the third Murli. The sign of love for Father Brahma is to become an Avyakt angel. Love for Father Brahma. Baba says this all the time. See, we say, I love you, I love you. This love has become so mundane now. But true love is when you want to become like that person. They say that if there's a lot of love between husband and wife, then over years, they start thinking the same. And then, in a way, they start vibrating at the same frequency. And then they start looking alike, almost like brother, sister. So if we truly love Baba, then we would want to be with Baba, right? Close to Baba. And the closer we are to Baba, and for longer, as long as we can be, see, it's a longer time that we are close to Baba. So you understand there is the intensity and duration, two aspects. I could be very close to Baba for just a few minutes and then rest of the day not even feel that connection. Or I could feel a constant closeness to Baba, but still not really close. Still, it is a little bit far from Baba. But the real deal would be that I am very close to Baba, and also I'm constantly in that state. So as I'm in that state, then I'll become like Baba now. And becoming like Baba, becoming like Shiv Baba, becoming like Brahma Baba. And Brahma Baba became angel, obvious angel. So we too will become angels. That's the cross. And when will we become angels? What is this angelic state? It's a consciousness, it's a mindset. When we don't allow things around us to bother us, then that's being an angel. So can we become angels like Baba? Yeah. In this Murli, Baba also talks about being a karma yogi, because that's how Baba lived his life. That's an important component to becoming an angel. When we're doing service, then by its very definition, we will get fruit. You see, every action has a consequence, and the purer the action, the more unconditional the action, the more benevolent the action, the more the reward. Now, the reward will be in various forms. One would be the long-term reward that we'll get in the golden age. The next is, you see, as we keep moving forward in Baba's knowledge, even in this lifetime, we will see that our lives will become better, more organized, more structured, almost as if we are on a travelator. Yeah, we're moving forward sort of effortlessly. But then there is a third reward that Baba talks about oftentimes, and that is instant fruit. Meva, seva se meva, instant fruit. You see, what I always like to say is that the act itself is the reward, and the act itself is the punishment. So as we do Baba's service, as we hold the consciousness that I have to do something bigger than myself for the larger good of humankind, then automatically the happiness that gets created within ourselves, within us, that's the reward in itself. I remember there was one very elderly Mataji who lives a little far away from us, is not able to come to the center. She is sort of disabled. She um, She can drive still, but she uses a walker. And so, getting onto the plane and flying, and she has is retired. Her business no longer works. So she still, every month, no matter what, she will send an envelope with some cash in it and a nice card in which she will write a nice message for Kanishta and me and for Baba, all the efforts that she's making. Very nicely, she would write in that card every single month for the past, I don't know how many years. And so the other day she called me and she said, "Oh, did you get the card? Did you get my contribution?" And I said no, because, sometimes there is a little delay in the mail. And she was sharing that, this time when I went to the post office, for some reason she every time she goes to the post office to send the envelope, in US everything is pretty structured. You don't necessarily have to go, as long as the weight uh, of the envelope is not too heavy. You can know it, then you can just put one forever stamp, and you don't have to go to the post office to get it weighed. And it's a very organized system. So, but still, for some reason, she goes to the post office to mail it. And she was saying that as soon as I left the post office, I was literally dancing. There was this intense feeling of joy that I had as I was leaving the post office and getting into the car and driving back home. She said that I even opened the car windows, and I was kind of singing Baba's songs on the way back home. Very elderly Mataji, very elderly Mataji, and very lovely soul. And so you see, that is the instant fruit that she experienced. Just doing what needs to be done with that consciousness that I'm an instrument, total humility, holding pure wishes, pure feelings for everyone. Yeah, that's what is needed. There's so much more that we can talk about in this, but I'm going to stop here. And if you have anything to ask or say, you're welcome to say. I know Baba talked about plain intellect in this too. Plans, plain, plain. This is called a pun. In English, it's pun that Baba uses these words. He plays with these words. And oftentimes, Baba uses three words, right? He likes to use like Nirakari, Nirvikari, Nirhankari. In English, they call it as tricolon. Yeah, then a set of three words, almost like a crescendo, the way they are said, that it creates a tremendous impact on the soul, on the mind. And in the world out there too, they use this three word sentences or phrases in marketing and advertising. They've used that. So here too, plain intellect. That is, our intellect is not going here and there, not too many questions, not too many judgments. Just very simple, leaving it to Baba for how it will all happen. Just letting Baba play the tune through us. This total humility, becoming Nirman, but Nirman and Nimit. Yeah, again the three words Nirman, Nimit, and Nirman. Tricolon here too. So that instrument consciousness, that humility will allow us to have a plain intellect when we are creating plans. And that will allow us to fly high like a plane that goes so high up above the earth. Then we can reach our destination very quickly. Yes, Rakib, it looked like you were saying something.
So the pun that you were speaking about, another thing which reminded me was the three words which Baba says is Nishchay, Nishchit, and Nishchint. That also is uh, one axis to be angelic. Chetang you're on mute.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So just thinking
Uh,
is that I'm not able to hear you, and then I saw you were on mute.
yeah. I muted myself for a moment so that there is no reverberation when you were speaking. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. So, yeah, but these three words, they're powerful three words. So that's tricolon too. That's an example of tricolon. Nishchay Buddhi, Nishchit Vijay, Nishchint. When we are Nishchint, then there is Nishchay, and then there is Nishchit Vijay. Or when we have this thought that there's Nishchit Vijay, then we become Nishchint, and therefore we are able to truly become victorious.
Here also, I feel it's very no, it's not
Right.
something where we can say, okay, ye pehle kya ki ye pehle hoga.
Right.
It's like everything is like a circle. These three
Yeah.
words are like a circle.
True. Yeah. And I like to play with these thoughts all day long. Like I was asking people that, because there's no cause and effect in a way, there's reverse causality to some extent. And in fact, in Baba's knowledge, the way Baba says, there's all this interconnectedness. And yeah, every day I ask these questions to all the children here for them to reflect on. Yeah, because you think of it, if the fan has these three or four, what do you call hands? What do you call those hands? Maybe no. What are they called as? The blades. Blades. Sorry, yeah, blades. I don't know. For some reason, I was missing, and my mind was not able to think of the right word. So the blades of the fan move, right? And you feel the breeze. So is it the moving of the blades that causes the breeze to be generated, or is it the breeze that causes the blades to turn? Yeah. In the case of the fan, yes, we can say yes, the electric power then causes the blades to move and then the breeze is experienced by us. But the other way around is also true. You look at those fans that they use for generating electricity, or let's say the fan is not connected to power, and if you open the window and the breeze comes in, the fan blades start to move. So you see, cause and effect, reverse causality. We become victorious when we think we are victorious, or is the other way around? When we think we are victorious, then victory comes to us. Or when victory comes to us, then we think we are victorious. It's a lot of different things to think about.
The example that you just given of a fan, if we look at it, the breeze is not seen, the
Yeah,
wind is not seen. You can only experience it.
yeah, yeah.
Similarly, when we may not see Shiv Baba, but we only experience His presence when we make ourselves available to take that energy.
Yeah. Mm. Good, good. All right. So,
So let's move to a short meditation. We are running
yeah,
on time.
yeah. Yes, right. Right. Yeah, we have just 1 minute. So, see yourself becoming an angel, a big angel, just like Father Brahma, following his footsteps, letting go of all attachments to the outcome, to your thoughts, to your ideas, becoming truly humble by seeing yourself as an instrument. And see yourself flying home like a plane towards your destination. Om Shanti. Right on time, 8:30.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Shwetanga. Thank you, Divine Family. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a peaceful day.